Alrighty then, so this is a second channel thing, so it's just gonna be what it is. And I've decided I want to try to do the American Road. So this is in BeamNG.drive, if you can't tell. And there's this one map, it's the American, called like American Roads or whatever. It's a really popular map on the thing. And they have this quote-unquote impossible time trial. So this is an 82 kilometer map. Just like an 82 kilometer race course thing they've set up on their map. And I've tried it a couple of times before, and it's not very well signposted at times, so I guess let's see how we do. The main challenge is not doing it fast, but it's not destroying the car along the way. So let's start it and see how far we get here. Hopefully I can complete the whole thing. Yeah, so it's gonna be a really boring video. So it's gonna go on the second channel. Okay. Okay, well I have to put it in the right gear here. Okay, off to a good start. Hopefully I've mixed the audio in a way that's actually listenable, because I can't change it in post, so it's probably going to be fine. Okay, that's the first checkpoint. Don't want to go too fast, otherwise we're going to crash the car. This is just like a stock, the Corvette, I guess, Corvette. It's like a little, it's like a Honda CRX, I think is what this is meant to be. A little Honda Civic based car here. BeamNG is just, it's just such a good game. I've been playing it for so long. Kind of crazy, it's been almost a decade, and just how far it's come with all the new maps and vehicles and upgrades and all the stuff they're adding to it constantly. Just how crazy good the physics is and stuff. It's just a good game. What can I say? Okay, I'm trying to slow down a little bit there. So some of these earlier corners, those are fairly well signposted. It's like, oh, they've put the barricades that say go this way. But in other places it's not super clear, especially when you can't directly see like where the next checkpoint is and how to get there. But maybe I've done it a couple times before, so maybe that will it'll be better this time. Okay, we are going a little fast. We might wanna, does this have ABS? Oh shit, no, it does not. Okay, this entry-level car does not have ABS. That might be a problem later, but I think we can work around that. I do have the arcade style gearbox selected specifically for this. I normally like the realistic style, but just so that we don't spend all our time trying to figure out what gear am I supposed to be in, I'm just gonna leave it on arcade, and we're not gonna worry about that. Yeah, most of the time when I play this game, I'm just like creating the most juiced versions of these vehicles possible, and it never really works out super well, so I guess there's that. Yeah, it's like, oh, what happens if I put the maximum engine power in this little Corvette, in this little Honda CRX, for example? Oh, it makes it literally undrivable because we can't get any traction. Okay, what if I upgrade the wheels? Oh, well, you know, I guess it's just how, you know, cars work, right? If you try to upgrade your engine to the nth degree, well then, oh, well, you actually have to have, you know, proper suspension and proper wheels and tires and, you know, all the other supporting components to actually be able to put down all of that power, right? So, okay, so we're getting into some of the first switchbacks here. This is where, if you're not paying attention, you can definitely go wrong here. Making decent time. This isn't really meant to be like a... Oh shit. Yeah, that's the problem with not having anti-lock brakes, is that you have to pump the brakes. I could restart and fix that, or we can just soldier on and see what happens. I might have to try this again at some point, but I guess that's okay. Yeah, so if you've been following the main channel for any series of time, you know that in this computer I have an RX 6600, and I really wanted to get an RX 7900X or XT or 7900 9070 XT or something, and I finally was able to get that. So I was finally able to get a RX 9070 for my console downstairs, and it is really cool. I might make a video on that, although I'll have to figure out a way to record the screen without it just being Reflection City, because that was definitely a major problem with that video, was that it was just kind of unwatchable, mostly because the audio was terrible and you couldn't really see what was on the screen, because for some reason I decided to use my good camera for like all the weird B-roll shots and then use my iPhone to film the screen because I thought that would work better. I don't know why, but now I actually know how to use the real camera a lot better. So in that case, in order to slow down, I was just pulsing the brakes, because that's what you have to do with non-anti-lock brake vehicles. So anyway, with the so yeah, so now the console has an RX 9070 in it, and then I was able to get it at my local Micro Center for basically MSRP. I think it was $600 for the ASRock Fighter Edition, and it's like really cool because it has these just kind of fun LEDs on it that I think look really good, and they work really well. They're not like RGB or addressable or anything like that, they're just on. There is a little switch on the PCB kind of near the power button, near the power connectors that make it work pretty well, so that you can turn off the LEDs if you want. So if you want to do that, you can. If you don't want to do that, you can just leave them on. I think they look really good, so maybe I'll try to film a video about that. But that means that the 6750 XT that was in that computer is now in this computer. So it's now in my workstation, which I'm filming this video on, as you can see by the background behind me. And it's basically perfect for all... Blah. It is basically perfect for what I want to do here. I mean, it can run BeamNG.drive at 4K with, I think, like a mixture of mostly normal settings, which for this game is perfectly adequate, as you can see. So yeah, it's a really good graphics card. Alright, so we have made it down to the, this is the first highway stretch here. We're about 7 minutes in. This is quite a long run. I did it before. It took me about 40 minutes to get most of the way there. I was in a much slower vehicle though. I think I took the minivan and I like downgraded the engine to like the smallest engine possible, because I thought somehow that would make it better. But at least that vehicle did have anti-lock brakes, which were very helpful. Like for example right here, that I've now absolutely stuffed it because I wasn't paying any attention, but it's okay. So we can just we can recover this. It's fine. I knew this was going to happen when I was just kind of talking and not actually paying attention to the road. I knew that this dip and then there's that corner there, but it's okay. We didn't crash the car, and if I had anti-lock brakes, that would have been not as big of a problem. I think I really need to get a pop filter for this microphone. This is probably... well, that was bad. It was probably unlistenable with all the P's and the thing, and then it triggers like the noise suppression I have, and then it's a whole thing. So anyway, we're coming through this first town here. I think it's like Eastdale or whatever. kind of a nice little town. Maybe I'll slow down for it so we can look at it. It definitely feels a little bit more alive when we have, you know, actual traffic. When I enable the AI traffic, but I don't think I can do that in this racing mode right here. So, over here is this first little chicane thing. They really like to use these barricades to try to block off where you're supposed to go, where you're not supposed to go. And most of the time that works. Not all the time though. As we might see later. There's some no texture trees over there. Very nice as we almost crashed, but we didn't crash, so that's good. Oh, interesting. This is a right-hand drive vehicle. I just noticed that. That's interesting. I guess we should be driving on this side of the road then. Although I guess it doesn't really matter. Alright, so our next checkpoint is way over there in the distance. Eventually, when we get up into the mountains, things are going to start lagging a little bit, so I guess we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean the 6750 XT is a really good GPU, but the RX 9070 is a fantastic GPU, especially because it offers, like, from what I can tell, we're getting a little bit of stuttering right now actually. Maybe that's due to recording and stuff. But oh well. This is the second channel, so nobody's gonna watch this anyway. That's fine. But anyway, with the 9070, it's like probably about twice the, like about 70 to 90% extra performance compared to the 6750 XT. But it consumes about the same amount of power. So this 6750 XT pulls about 200 watts, whereas the RX 9070 pulls about 220. Although I can increase that power limit up to 245. Although I haven't seen it actually go that high, even though I've done that. So maybe that's just Bazite being weird. Okay. So this is where things start to get a little bit confusing. So you go up here, and then in here it's not immediately clear because, like, you can keep going over that way. I can keep going down the road there, but where I'm actually supposed to go is back around this way for some reason, and then back onto the highway over here. I'm not really sure why they did that, because we just came from over there, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're supposed to do there. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Then we're going to Maryville. And over here you have to be careful of these curbs, because before in my minivan I ripped my front bumper off, and then that somehow threw the steering out of alignment and I had to restart the run. So let's not do that this time as we come around this corner through the next checkpoint. Around the corner here we go. As we just go in a nice kind of peaceful drive. We're about 12 minutes in. That's pretty good. We haven't crashed so far, so that's good. But this is also, I know this part fairly well because I like restarted 3 or 4 times through here before. So we have to slow down here. We're gonna start merging onto another section of highway. So a lot of this is fairly well signposted in the beginning, but then things will start to fall apart a little bit later. We're still holding a fairly steady frame rate, which I guess is good. I'm not sure if the recording's good. It looks pretty good. There might be a little bit of stuttering in there, but not much I can do about that, and we're not going to worry about it. So here we go. This I have to slow down here. This is the big roundabout. I put 2 checkpoints like right next to each other over here, which is interesting. Although BeamNG, they did recently kind of overhaul their general navigation system, and they made like the icons for which way you're supposed to turn a lot clearer, and they have like the road, like the driving line is a thing. That's a lot better now. So if that was in this mode, in like the racing mode, they had the driving line, that would help a lot with figuring out like which way am I supposed to go. Like, why is this set up this way? I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to go over here. Yes, this is where the next checkpoint is. Okay. So now what am I supposed to do? Well, I'm actually supposed to turn right around. And then go back up over here. Why couldn't I have just turned left here instead of going all the way around and then coming back again? I don't really know. That's just how they decided to do it. I guess they wanted to show us that cool little gas station down there. Which, I mean, it was a pretty... Oops, okay. We can't be destroying our suspension like that, so let's try to be careful. But anyway, that was a pretty cool gas station. I'm not gonna lie. Come on, little car. Come on. You can make it up the hills. So now we're gonna start heading up into the mountains. So now we're going to start heading up into the mountains, which is going to be interesting. The roads start getting very narrow, and you have to be very careful. And maybe I shouldn't be going almost 100 miles per hour, but you know, we've been lucky so far, so maybe it'll be okay. I don't know. I think I'm going to start bleeding off a little bit of speed here because we're only a little bit into the run, and I don't want to... the run on them. I've been watching too much Easy Speasy. That's the thing. Like everything's we're speed running. No, we're not speed running. We're just going on a leisurely drive throughout BeamNG. So anyway, and our next checkpoint is coming up here. So again, most of it's pretty well signposted. Again, they blocked the road off there. We're supposed to turn over here into the high mountains. And things they're going pretty well. We have a very nice red car here. I do like the red car. I think just before I started recording, I think I chose like the base spec model, so I'm not quite sure what engine it has. I think it's like a 1.3 liter inline 4. Seems to have pretty good power. The suspension damping is not great with how bouncy it was right there, but you know, it's the base model. We can't expect them to have the fanciest, you know, Brembo, they make brakes, the fanciest, you know, shock absorbers and dampers and stuff. You know, it's serviceable. You're probably not supposed to be going this fast over bumps and stuff. It's meant to be more of like a little, you know, family econo box city car, and for that I think it's probably fine. You know, it's been holding up pretty well. It has really good handling, which helps a lot up in these roads, and you know, for not having anti-lock brakes, we seem to be getting along pretty well. I think it helps that we're not able to go extremely fast. If we were going like, you know, over 100 miles per hour, that would probably be a lot harder to stop. I would probably have to be, you know, tapping on the brakes a little bit more. But also having a little less engine power helps us not go quite so fast up these hills anyway, which is pretty good. So there is that. Vroom vroom, let's go. Let me slow it down a little bit here. Okay, so we're going up the hill. The other problem with up in these mountains is sometimes you see these rocks that are on the side of the road. Well, in certain places those are in the road. I don't know if that's like a procedural, like an error with how they generated this or something, and sometimes the road markings get all squiggly like that. Okay, we're going over a bit of a crest, so let's slow down a little bit. Yeah, see, like there's a rock in the road right there. We don't want to hit that because that could destroy our car. So we want to be careful about that. But yeah, overall this 6750 XT, it is a trooper. It is handling BeamNG.drive at native 4K. Maybe this is a Linux thing, but if I set this, it's in full screen mode. If I were to set this to like 1440p or whatever, instead of just having a blurrier full screen image, it just makes the window smaller. It's like up in the top left-hand corner, so that's a bit weird. And if you set it to regular windowed mode, then it's stuck in this like tiny resolution window, and you can't resize it or change the resolution of that. So that's a bit weird. But you know, just BeamNG things. Also, the Vulkan renderer crashed my Mesa drivers, so that was cool. It like loaded in, the screen was flickering like crazy, and then my entire session just restarted because Mesa was just like, no, we can't deal with this Vulkan implementation, which was great. So you love to see that. Okay, around some more of these kind of tight corners here. I have figured out now how to pulse on the brakes, so to make it not quite so yeah, like that. So that seems to be helping a little bit to actually slow down and not just skid and slide everywhere, because that's kind of what anti-lock brakes do. They use like wheel rotation sensors and stuff, so they know how fast the wheels are spinning. And if the wheels are not spinning, but the car is still moving, then that is bad, and they will release pressure on the brakes and I guess like pulse them, so that you have the maximum amount of braking force possible without braking traction. So to avoid, you know, that from happening. And that's a pretty good innovation, I think, having you know, proper anti-lock brakes, which will be very helpful down here so that we don't slam into those bullards. So I'm just gonna ease her down the hill here. Maybe we don't have to go quite that slow, but we're not gonna be taking too many chances. Okay, so we're into some more of the mountain roads here. Again, this is pretty clear where we're supposed to go, but I don't know, maybe I was just kind of tired that day. I did do it kind of late at night when I was trying this before. Up she goes, red car, kind of slow. That's okay, it's perfect for this run. Okay, oh, no, careful. So it said that it took the developer about like 40 minutes. I think it's gonna take me a bit longer than 40 minutes to do that, so we're gonna hold tight here, I think. Whee! Shink. So yeah, the 9070 it's a good GPU. It can run games real fast. Maybe I'll make a video on it, maybe I won't, I don't know. I was gonna make my next video is gonna be about KDE Linux, and that might be interesting. It's kind of like a fun, you know, reference implementation for the KDE apps and desktop and stuff. You know, it's a way for the KDE developers to be like, hey, this is how all this stuff is supposed to be built and how it's supposed to be packaged and all that kind of stuff, which is good, because I guess that's a big problem when you don't have a reference, is like nobody knows, well, how am I supposed to do this? Who knows? So maybe Fedora will package things weird, or Ubuntu will package things weird, and so on and so forth. which can be a problem. Yeah, we don't want that to be a problem. So having a nice stable reference implementation will allow developers to be like, oh, okay, well, you know, maybe my app is acting weird on Fedora, but it works just fine on KDE OS when I package it as a Flatpak, because it is immutable. That is a thing. I guess it uses like snapshots and the BTFS, the ButterFS file system, and all sorts of other things to, you know, handle all of its stuff. So it is immutable. That's pretty cool. But anyway, having a nice, solid, stable reference platform will make it, I think, easier for everybody to kind of figure out what's going on. You know, is it a bug with the KDE side of things? Is it a bug with how somebody implemented it? Maybe it's, you know, if you're running on like an older, oh, like that's a big rock in the road and have to dodge that. Yeah, this is the part where there's lots of rocks in the road and we have to be very careful. Also, the road gets kind of narrow, and I don't want a rock to like blow up my tires when I'm trying to drive. And also, this is like the really laggy part of the run, so just, yeah, I could reduce settings, but I don't want to, and we're just gonna have to suffer together. I mean, the 6750 XT is powerful, but not that powerful. And also, when we're trying to record, it doesn't, that slows things down a little bit. But yeah, I think having a reference implementation will be really nice. Because I guess some of the problems with KDE Neon is that because it's built on the older Ubuntu base, I guess they have to like do a lot of hacky stuff to the LTS base to get all the latest and greatest Plasma stuff to compile, because they have to, you know, update certain packages, and they have to, you know, change dependencies around and like this, that, and the other thing. And I guess that doesn't make it very stable. I've kind of used KDE Neon a little bit in the past. I have it installed on the GNOME book right now. I think I made a whole video on that about KDE Mobile and all the jank that was involved in that. So maybe that's due to the weird Ubuntu LTS base that they've had to hack. Maybe that's why there's all the weird bugs in there, or maybe there are actual problems with the, you know, KDE stuff with Plasma, with all the stuff they had to do to make KDE Mobile work. I don't know. But if they can have their own, you know, reference platform that they fully control, I think that will help with that. And developers can, you know, they can figure things out, and that'll be good. So there is that. That is good. So yeah, but currently it is very, very untested. Well, not untested, but it's in very early development, so it's very pre-alpha. There's only the nightly builds available. And most of those, you know, you're gonna have to roll things back. It's, you know, they're developing stuff. Oh, careful. They're developing stuff. It's, you know, it's not ready for the end release, which was kind of what I thought when it was first announced, because of this big shiny website and everything else, and everybody was talking about it, and I was like, ooh, I got really excited. I'm gonna make my video on KDE Linux, and oh, okay, well, this version doesn't work, and that version doesn't work, and so on and so forth. But, you know, eventually we got everything working. I found a build that worked, and I was able to kind of explore it and take a look at some of the interesting stuff in there. So I guess that's kind of cool. I guess I also just spoiled the next video that's coming out, but nobody's gonna watch this, so I guess it doesn't matter. If you do watch this and you'd be like, oh, that sounds interesting, then I don't know, comment red car on the video when it comes out. So I know you were watching this, I guess. I don't know. Just say hello down in the comments, and I'll probably say hello back, and that'll be pretty fun. So there's that. I normally don't tell people to interact with my videos because that's just not, it doesn't feel right to me. I don't really know why. It's just like, oh, well, if people are they're gonna like and subscribe if they really want to, and you're like, yeah, everybody like and subscribe and ring the bell and leave a comment and all that. Just like, I don't know. They're gonna, if people really want to do that, they're gonna do that, right? If people really like the content, they're gonna like and they're gonna subscribe and they're gonna do all that stuff. And it just doesn't seem right to try to force all that growth when it's just not necessary, I guess. Because like, I don't want to be the next, you know, Linus Media Group or whatever. I'm just a dude who makes, you know, content about stuff I think is cool and interesting. Sometimes I'll maybe choose topics that I think are gonna perform a bit better, but for the most part, it's like, oh, well, I really want to have a Linux-based tablet, so I'm gonna start doing all these experiments to be like, what is the best distribution for this? Maybe what is the best hardware platform? You know, what is the landscape looking like? Because, you know, Linux on, I guess in general, like, you know, desktop operating systems on desktop computers, that's been, you know, tried and true since like, God, like the early 90s, maybe late 80s or something. Like, we figured out how that works. We know how mouse and keyboards work. We know how all those interaction methods work, but for doing desktop stuff on a tablet, that just doesn't really work all that well. You know, it's just kind of this awkward experience. I don't know. Like, as we've kind of seen in some of these previous videos, like, you know, buttons are really small, or, you know, you have to try to, you know, they expect you're gonna have a mouse, and maybe they expect you're gonna have a keyboard, so, like, interacting with things are weird, and, like, copying and pasting is the eternal nemesis of touch-based interfaces. Like, even Apple struggles to get this right. You know, you know what I'm talking about, so. Yeah, KDE. I feel like KDE was a lot better than GNOME, at least for the most part. Like, their keyboard mostly worked, where the GNOME one was just really slow for some reason, even on a fairly, like, on that Microsoft Surface tablet thing I was using. And that seemed to work pretty well, but it was just slow. I guess that's just how GTK is, whereas the Qt framework is fast and it works pretty good, so that's pretty cool, I guess. That's pretty cool. Dirt racetrack. Okay, so this is where things are gonna start to get a little weird. This is kind of where I really started getting confused. So, as you saw before on the run, I was just doing everything pretty much through autopilot, just kind of rambling about God knows what. But this is where, when I was doing my runs before, I did like 2 or 3 or something, things started to get a little confusing, because you're supposed to go along the racetrack, and it's kind of obvious now that I can see that next gray checkpoint that's now orange is like on the racetrack, but I didn't realize that was on the racetrack because, well, there's nothing here that tells me to go this way. So I'm supposed to do a lap of the track right now, but before I just kept driving forward and around. And if you look over here, well, there's another set of bollards that say, oh, go this way. So it's like, oh, well, we've done this in the past where we, you know, just go around something, like when we bypassed that underpass earlier, remember? So that was weird. So I'm like, okay. And then everything seems normal. I'm seeing all the waypoints, but I don't see any more checkpoints anywhere. Then I turned around and I went around the racetrack, and then things started to unravel for me. So maybe I was just really weird back then. But I don't know. We're gonna do a lap of the track. That's pretty cool. I guess these are like fun things to do on the scavenger hunt here. We're gonna look for where we came into the track. Is that over here? Yes, it is. Okay, yay! We did a lap of the oval track. That was pretty cool. I guess the developer of this map is just like, hey, look, here's all the cool stuff I placed down. Here's this town. Here's this like gas station that we just kind of drove up to and then immediately turned around. Here's the cool racetrack. Here are the mountains. I guess this route is meant to be a showcase of this map, and it is a really cool map. I've seen like some of the other giant maps in this track are just like barren, and all the textures are like really ugly, and it doesn't work very well. But with this one, I mean, it looks pretty good, right? They have all the trees there. It looks pretty well. They're pretty well placed and everything. They look good. You know, there's not too many roads, but they're pretty good roads. You know, they feel good. When we were in the mountains, there was definitely a little bit of jank. Like some trees I've noticed are like floating, and there are rocks in the road, and this, that, and the other thing. But when you're trying to make things at this scale, like, you know, you're gonna have to automate most of it. I'm pretty sure like all these trees, like I highly doubt the developer is placing all of these trees by hand. So yeah. Alright, so this is where we're in Belford. This is where things started to get a little more confusing. So like, oh, here's this checkpoint that's like over here? Kind of like in the middle of everything. Was it meant to be on this main road? Have we gone through the checkpoint? Uh-oh. Oh no, we crashed the car. Oh shoot. Okay, it's fine. And the hood's... Oh, no. Okay, well, I knew this was gonna happen at some point. Oh god. Okay, well, we've really stuffed it now, haven't we? Okay, I think it's fine. Okay, so is it at least driving straight? I think so. Well, where's the checkpoint supposed to be? Like, this is where things get a little weird. Oh, shit. Okay, careful. Careful. So am I supposed to go... Okay, we've hit the checkpoint. Am I supposed to continue going straight down this road? 'Cause before I went down that dirt path, and that was not correct. So I'm just going to keep going straight. Is the car... Okay, the car is going straight, so that is fine. We slightly dented our hood. And our rear bumper is a little bit banged up from when we hit the trees. Okay, so this is that was fine. So we were supposed to go down the road, but like the checkpoint was like out in the middle of nowhere. So that was not okay. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but and now this makes sense. So I guess that was just me being an idiot, but like that checkpoint was in a weird place. So I don't know, maybe I don't know, I guess I just get easily confused sometimes. I think I really need to get a pop filter for this microphone. So I'm probably gonna order one of those later, and we're gonna see. I was at least able to get my sound settings sounding a lot better. I didn't have so much compression for the next KDE video, but I also don't have a pop filter, so I guess we'll see how that sounds. Oh, here's the swamp area. This is kind of a fun area. So yeah, so I guess this will be a good test of my microphone throughout this recording process. See how good everything sounds. Also see if the engine of the game noise is too loud, because that was always a problem I've had in the past of when I try to record multiple audio streams at once through OBS. I always make like the game way too loud and then the microphone's way too quiet, and then there's kind of nothing I can do about it, but you know. Alright, so everything, maybe this route's a lot better than I thought, because apart from that one checkpoint being out in the middle of nowhere and some other stuff you just kind of have to figure out, it's pretty good. Maybe if I had just taken the road like normal, I would have still clipped the side of the checkpoint, but the checkpoint was definitely placed in a way that makes you think you were supposed to go down that dirt path and you were not. And typically they'll like block off the routes you're not supposed to go down, but I guess not. Like, was I supposed to go down that dirt road over there? Probably not. No, I guess we're fine. We're going into another town. This is a nice town. I'm not gonna go too far. Oh, maybe this is the San Francisco town area. I don't know. I don't think so. But it's a nice town though. There's some more nice fields. A lot of this map is just kind of fairly open space, which is nice, you know. It's kind of a little bit like the map in Forza Horizon 4, which is just kind of the nice, you know, British countryside, which I think is a lot nicer than the Horizon 5 map, which is just kind of like dust. So there's that. Although the Horizon 5 map does have a lot more verticality, which I think is nice, and that's cool, but also it's not as good as the Horizon 4 map, and I'm just gonna hold to my guns there. So I guess we're going this way. Okay. I guess we're getting back on the highway now. Okay, well we can really open her up now, huh? Oh. I'm seeing things. I thought that flower was a guy walking along the road, but I guess not. I guess I'm just going crazy at this point. That's pretty cool. I am playing with my blue Xbox controller, by the way, in case you were wondering. I don't think you were. Nobody's watching this at this point, so I can say whatever I want. Whee! How fast can it go? This is dangerous. It is still tracking dead straight though, even though we got into some minor accidents before. And the hood's not flying up. I really thought the hood would start flying up at speed, especially now that air can start to get under it. Because all these trees are not helping my performance right now. But again, we are running at native 4K. So that is like a lot to deal with. And we also are recording at the same time. I'm sorry the recording is probably pretty stuttery, but it doesn't matter. This is more of a podcast anyway, isn't it? I'm not good at doing podcasting. I'm kind of very rambly and I lose my train of thought pretty often. But I guess that's okay. Some of the things about doing YouTube for this past while is that I've gotten a lot better at just talking, which is good. I'm normally a pretty quiet person. So you know, being able to figure out how to formulate, how to just talk for a while is nice, I guess. And that's pretty good. So yeah, this whole YouTube thing it's pretty cool. I'm kind of having fun with it. It's funny, you get a lot of comments saying, well, not that many, but like more than a couple of people have said like, oh, you know, your channel is so good. Why do you have like so many subs? And it's like, I guess because I just don't advertise or do anything. So I guess I'm supposed to go on this side of the highway now. But the checkpoint is still over here, so I don't know why I guess they really wanted us to be on the right side of the highway here. Although, well, I guess you can bring any car, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but yeah. I guess we're in America, so that does make sense. We're not in a left-hand drive country. We're like, anyway, this is what I'm talking about. I start rambling and then something else comes up and I'm like, I lose my train of thought. Now I'm talking about something else and it's just this weird organic natural flow. So anyway, yeah, the whole YouTube thing is pretty good, and people will be like, oh, well, you know, your channel is so, you know, I like, you know, thank you, all the people who have said that. It means a lot to me. But yeah, I guess my channel's not super big because I just don't advertise. Was I supposed to have gone that way? Or this way? Uh-oh, did we make a wrong turn? I don't think so. So anyway, yeah, I just don't advertise. I don't really do... I've kind of gotten a little bit more clickbaity, I guess, with my thumbnails and titles recently, but I don't think it's that crazy. I don't really have any social media presence, like, at all, apart from YouTube. I don't, you know, advertise things all that often. I don't tell people to like and subscribe, and I don't really play, like, the YouTube game. You know, we're going the right way. This is fine. So, I guess there's that. I guess that's your answer. But, yeah, thank you for all the people that have said that. It means a lot to me. And, yeah. We're gonna keep going. So... for all those, you know, all those people that do like and subscribe and leave comments, thank you a lot. It means a lot. So yeah, we've reached over 420 troglodytes, so let's keep going, I guess, if you wanna. I don't see any more checkpoints. Oh, it's over there. Okay. We're going pretty fast, and the corners are coming up, so that's a recipe for disaster. That's how driving works. Yeah, it is interesting because, like, there are a lot of videos that I think, oh, this is gonna do so well, and then I realized, oh, I was like really naive, or like I think, oh, I'm gonna plant all these fun seeds, and then people are gonna come back later, and this is like with with the console video, like building the console, like that got like 170 views, which is not a lot compared to my typical average of like 200 to 500 views. I guess that's kind of like the range I've sort of been noticing. But like I needed to build that computer, and I thought it'd be fun to make a video about it, and I really like that video, so I guess that's all that matters. I'm like, I make videos for me. It's kind of like Avatar, you know, my favorite metal band. If some people might know who they are, but again, nobody's watching this, so I guess it doesn't matter. They on their YouTube channel at some point they released a video and they're like, yeah, like we make music that's only for us, so you know we like to make, you know, fun music that we really are interested in, and our core audience will stay around. But if a lot of people like, oh, you've changed your sound, you're no longer a, you know, whatever you were, that's fine. That's kind of been my philosophy with content. It's just like, I'm gonna make the videos that I want to make, and everything else be darned, you know. If it's not like the latest, trendiest, craziest thing in the algorithm, well, who cares? Like, that's all a whole bunch of derivative crap anyway, and that's not what I want to do. So there's that. There are other videos that maybe I didn't package super well, like, you know, what happens when you unplug your boot drive while your system is running. I felt like the title for that was going to be way too long, so I kind of just truncated it in a weird way, and everybody was like, oh, I guess, I don't know. That was kind of a fun video. Those like weird mad science experiment videos, but the results weren't as crazy as I thought they were. I really thought we're going to have a lot more carnage, and we just kind of didn't. But I guess that was a neat way to see how these different types of operating systems handle these kind of things, but maybe what I really should have done is, I guess we're making a U-turn here, boys. Okay, careful, slow down. I guess maybe what I should have done for that was have have a lot more active processes running. Like maybe it was saving a document when I unplugged it, or maybe it was like, oh god, performing, ooh, that would have been good if it was like performing system updates or whatever. That could have really nuked it. I think on the immutable, like in Fedora Kyanite, is that what I put there? I think so. For like the immutable branch, that probably would have been fine. It just would have probably just rolled back to the previous functional install, and then you could have done it from there. But I think for the regular Fedora, that probably would have bricked it, maybe. Because you would have had like tons of like half-baked packages or things that didn't install correctly, or, you know, your init RAM file system wouldn't have been able to have been regenerated, and you would have made all these weird changes to things. So that probably would have made the system unbootable, but maybe that would have been, that might not have been super interesting. I don't know. So I guess there's that. I don't know, maybe I'll remake that video in the future, maybe I won't. That's kind of the thing. It's like, oh, well, I've already made this video, so do I really want to make it again so soon? Is that, like, I don't know. That's kind of the thing, right? Because I don't want to be the guy that just makes the same video over and over again. I guess I kind of did that with, like, the NVIDIA on Linux thing. It's like, oh, here's NVIDIA on whatever it was. I think it was Endeavor OS first. Kind of checking that out, and it's like, oh, here's NVIDIA on, what was it, Bazite? It's like, oh, yeah, cool, NVIDIA drivers on Wayland, or NVIDIA drivers on Wayland, they seem to work. You know, KDE is KDE is KDE, although I don't think that really matters with NVIDIA. I think it's more of like the distro and how they package the drivers and that kind of stuff, but yeah, the interesting part there was with GameScope specifically, because I knew that was experimental and had a lot of weird GameScope bugs, so, you know, I thought that would be interesting, and it kind of was, but I don't know. It seemed to run fairly well when you're in-game. Some games were. And some games were really buggy, and some games were not. Assuming they want me to go this way? Yes? Yes, okay. You know what? I was wrong before. This map is very clearly signposted. I was just probably really sleepy because I kind of tried this late at night before, and my brain wasn't functioning super well. But clearly now it's fine. So yeah. Let's not spam the camera button. So yeah, I mean, there were other interesting videos, like some of the ones I made early on had like terrible audio, because like I hadn't figured out how to do that. I still haven't figured out how audio works. But I don't know. I got this whole new microphone set up and everything, because like I was using that old blue Snowball, and that was like really crusty and sounded kind of bad, and I got this new Audio Technica AT2035, and God, okay, this is on dirt. We can't go that fast, otherwise we're gonna break the car. You're breaking the car, Samir. You're breaking the car. Some people might get that joke, but no one's gonna watch this, so I guess it doesn't matter. So anyway, whoa. Okay, we're doing a rally stage right now in Mum's old Civic. Oh no. Can Mum's old Civic handle the rally? I know I can like put all the rally parts on here, but I don't know if that'll help so much. Okay, over the bridge. So anyway, YouTube stuff. It's pretty cool. Now I don't remember what I was talking about before because I'm going crazy. But yeah, YouTube it's a pretty cool thing, being a tiny little creator. You know, you see the numbers go up. It's kind of funny because like you see, okay, so the video starts gaining traction, and then it skyrockets, and then it just flatlines completely after a certain amount of time. YouTube's like, okay, you're done. That video's done now. No more growth. You're done. Which is a bit strange, I guess. Like, I don't know. The algorithm is a weird game, and I don't really play a lot of the games that the algorithm wants you to play, I guess. So there is that. But yeah. I mean, maybe I would have like way more subscribers and all this stuff, and I could be like, you know, monetized and blah 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 blah. But then, where's the fun in that if you're just like turning this into a business and you're trying to chase all these trends and you're not really being original? Because like, I think all my favorite creators are like the people that are themselves and are super fun and original and interesting. Like, you know, Digital Foundry, like they're, you know, like the greatest. They're really cool. And yeah, that's kind of their whole thing. They said like a lot of people, they can compete in the SEO space and they can compete on doing all the craziest flashy stuff, but that works for them, but that doesn't work for Digital Foundry. And that's kind of like my whole shtick. It's like, you know, there's all the latest trends, but eventually by the time I hear about it, because I'm not really on any of these social medias, it's like it's already dead and gone. Like everyone's moved on to the next thing. I guess with the whole KDE Linux thing, that's me trying to jumping on this bandwagon, but I was generally like genuinely like, oh wow, this is so cool, I want to try it out. Oh, it's not ready yet. Okay. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, where am I supposed to go? That's the checkpoint, this way. Okay, follow the road. Okay, we're going on the dirt part. Yeah, I guess this route is really just showing us all the different parts of the map. Whoa, Jesus. Okay, we're going down a steep part, boys. Let's be careful down here. Tap the brakes. Okay, well, if I didn't mess up before, the car would have been completely unscathed so far, but hopefully I haven't jinxed myself, because we've had a pretty easy drive so far. And I think I really need to get a pop filter, because I have the monitoring mode on my Focusrite thing, and I can really hear all the plosives and stuff. And I can't get super far away from the mic, because then that cuts off all the bass in my voice, and I kind of want that. But so yeah, I think I'll just have to invest in a pop filter, and we've made it. Yay! We've made it. How long did that take us? 56 minutes. Oh, the car is gonna crash. So no, well, that's fine. We've made it. So yeah, that was that challenge. We did it in 56 minutes, and I was rambling the entire time. So that's about it. Bye.